Hi, this is Dr. Steve Ballou, and I'm going to talk to you today about messaging in NetMedical. We've launched the program. I have put my name. I'll put my password. Click on OK. The screen reminds me that I have homework. And then we're going to open up records. Now you see down at the bottom of the screen is a bar, and it says STB, that's me. I have 14 messages waiting. If I click on that bar, it takes me to the message screen. And here we have the urgency. 1 exclamation point is regular urgency. 2 would be as soon as possible. Who sent the message? The due date, that's when it appears on the screen, and I'll explain that later. The name of the patient, and then what it's about. So we're going to do an experiment here. We're going to go to our famous fake patient, Frank Fake. This is clearly not a real person. I'm going to do Control W to make this background information disappear. I'm going to write a new note. A new note is Control N, or you can also get it up here in Data. New progress note. Opens up to today's date, and here I'm going to write my note. Hi there. Now I'm going to send a message about this note. To send a message, you double click on the date, and you get this series of menu items. We're going to the one in the middle. Send a message about this note. I'm going to send this message to myself, and it says subject review note, and it gives the date of the note. If I send this message, I have a yellow message box which appears. So yellow, bright yellow, is a message for you about this patient. If I send a message to, for example, the blue team nurse about this patient, I'll write BTN. And this message is pale yellow. So this is for the blue team nurse, not for me. If I want to write a very urgent message, then I can double click on here, send a message. And here's where the due date becomes important. I'll send this to myself. The due date, instead of being today, I'm going to write as soon as possible. And watch what happens here. Now I have a purple message. That means very important message. And you notice that the message bar is clicking now, or blinking. That means you have an urgent message for you. This shows how messages can be very helpful when you send them to yourself. For example, if you have requested a test and don't want to forget to check the results, send yourself a message that is a date sometime in the future when the test should have been done. So for example, I ask Frank Fake to go get a blood test. And I'm going to send a message to myself. And the due date, instead of today, I'm going to write 30. That means 30 days from now. And I'll write myself a message. Check the blood test. This way I'll never forget. The machine will remind me. You see, delay message until the date it is due. So I send the message, and here it's a very pale message which is going to disappear until 30 days from now. It'll pop up and it'll be bright yellow, reminding me to check Frank's blood test. Now, messages can also be used to discuss patient care. You will often communicate by message with other members of the team. For example, here I sent a message to the blue team nurse, and for example, I could have said, please call the patient and find out what his most recent blood sugars have been. There's even a provision for instant messaging when the message is very urgent. So if I do the keystrokes of Control, Alt, and M, I get instant message window. So I'm going to send this to myself, and I'll say, wake up. So if I send an instant message to myself, there's a little funny sound. And if I minimize this window, I will see, there it is, instant message pops up right now, wake up. Now, to send an instant message, the other person has to be logged in and their computer has to be turned on, and then they will receive the message like this, and I can click OK. Now, back to the messages. When you've finished with a message, for example, you've done the work required, you've checked the result, you've answered, it should be archived. The easiest is Quick Archive right here. Quick Archive makes it disappear, though it's stored in the system somewhere. But there are other options. There's another one next to it called Archive, which gives you an alternative. So if I click on Archive, there's the chance for me to write a final message and even to log a copy of this message as a progress note for this patient. For example, if I say, I'll keep an eye on these results, and then I say log a copy, and I click Archive Message, this message now becomes part of the chart, the original message and my reply. Another thing we can do, of course, is just to reply directly to the message. We can forward it to someone else, or we can append more information to the same message. So, I hope that messaging becomes useful and important to you. I have to say, for me, it is the only way that I remember what to do next. So I write messages to myself all the time, and I encourage you to do the same. Thanks for watching the video.